Sybil,
Yes?
I'd like to...
What do you want to know?
So then,
Have you discovered?
nothing... This is the place. Now's the time to find out if this potion is gonna work.
Yuck! Ugh, I should have added some berries. The taste is truly disgusting.
So you're the one who's been spying for the village. Now that I see you, I understand why you'd rather not show up in person. Oh yeah, I don't hear your voice in my head anymore. You must have figured that out, right? So if you've got a message to deliver, you're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Forget it. I came down here to do two things. Look for mushrooms and kick somebody's ass. I ain't found any mushrooms. Well, your Ice Lords have never...
Yes?
I'd like...
What'd you want to know?
I know this place. The village is not far away to the right.
Vulcan. Where were you? We were up to our necks in it. They're everywhere.
Prince is on. It's more like... That was one tough death's head. But it won't command anyone now. Without their general, the Dead Walkers should leave us alone for a while. But they'll reorganize, so we can't stay here.
You're right, mercenary. Let's use the time to leave. It's now or never if we're going to get to Karalthas. My father and the armies of the Free Nations should be there. If we hurry, we may be able to participate in the mother of all battles and finally push back the Ice Lords.
If thou dost.
Sybil would never raise a finger against me. She will back me to the end.
The scribe, who is as pretty as she is innocent. Art thou naive? The scribes manipulated thee in the temple and the swamp. But thou placest thy trust in their leader's daughter? Their leader, whose killer thou dost protect? Thou hast no more choice. Thou must hasten.
Arundel wants me to go with him to Karalthas. What do you think?
You should go with him. Karalthas is our only hope for now, and the prince seems like a good man. We would be safer there. Both the human and elven armies are gathered there, and I believe you may find some answers there also. The elven sages are some of the wisest people on Vertial. If anyone can figure out what has happened to you, they can.
It's pretty obvious what happened to me. A demon has somehow gotten into my head, and now I gotta live with it.
And this does not worry you?
Yeah, it's starting to scare me.
I can imagine. These new powers come at a price. And I fear that you, Vulcan, your very self, may be the price that has to be paid. You must go to Karalthas so they can examine you. I believe you must find a way to control this thing, or even rid yourself of it before it's too late.
What are you...
There you are, at last.
I will...
You coming, Vulcan? Your captain will be wondering where we...
Prince.
Mike! Bastion is
Under...
Damn, it's freezing here. Aren't you cold?
I've spent many winters in libraries with no heating. After that, you hardly notice the cold. Which reminds me, do you know if the library in the city is still intact?
No idea. You looking for any book in particular?
Not a book, many books. The elves have the most advanced culture in the world. Their libraries contain works of inestimable value. We should find them. They could be useful to us.
I have other things I gotta do first. I have to accompany the prince, remember? But I will try to go with you so you can find your books later. Promise.
Good day.
Sure.
I have... Up. Up. Oh. What? Oh. What? Well, let's...
Mercenary.
How did... His... Oh. Now I've seen everything. The Deadwalkers kicking each other's asses.
I beg your pardon?
What? This one talks. What the hell are you, a lich? A zombie scribe?
We've only known one another a few seconds, and already you insult me. Charming, I must say.
If you aren't one of them, then what are you?
I am an immortal superior spirit. And you?
So you're an Ice Lord. I thought you'd be taller or something.
I have absolutely no involvement with that bunch of cheapskate conjurers, and I would never humiliate myself by working for them, since that's what you seem to be suggesting.
Yeah? Rotting flesh, sticking out bones? You sure as hell look like a damn Deadwalker to me.
Tut-tut. Did no one ever tell you not to judge a book by its cover? It's true that you're young, but use your wits. Would I be fighting my own troops if what you suggest were the truth?
All I can be sure of is that you're not really alive, and that makes you my enemy. And what's more, you're in my way.
This rotting body will not survive more punishment. In all my 6,000 years, I have never witnessed such power. You seem to be as unique a being as I am. What is the source of your power? What are you?
There's a demon inside me. A creature of flame that claims to come from the World Heart.
How fascinating. Even if the term demon seems to lack precision. Nonetheless, I must confess that in spite of my vast knowledge, I have no idea what this entity really is. At last, something interesting. I was almost dying of boredom. I suspect that exploring what's inside you will probably be quite exciting. No, don't speak. I'm coming with you. I can't wait to find out more about your case.
I can't have you tagging along with me right now. I have something to do in the city. Wait for me back at the camp. We'll talk about what we think you and I are later on.
Yes, I've seen where your camp is. Actually, it's quite surprising the Deadwalkers haven't noticed it yet. However, I suspect my unannounced arrival might pose a slight problem for your brothers in arms.
Yeah, I guess with your face, they might not welcome you with open arms. Just tell them I sent you, and try to behave.
Very well. Do you know your way into the city? There's a hidden entrance not far from here. I'll show you where it is on your map.
Thanks.
city is an open grave. Well, We can't afford to wait for Arundel. Not in his condition.
Mercenary! The Sentinels in the other group were killed by Deadwalkers.
I'll see what I can...
Mercenary, it is well that you are returned.
Yeah.
They attacked the wrong person. It's time for us to repay the Deadwalker.
They have to believe they can win. They have to fight alongside the elves and the Freeborn Blades. I've tried talking with them, but they treat me like a child. Maybe they would listen if you would talk to them.
Me? Most regular soldiers don't have time for mercenaries.
They just need to get their spirit back, boost their morale. I'm sure you could find some words to help them.
Vulcan, come here. I need to talk. While you were in the city, the Deadwalker, they can't just have been ambushed by chance.
With...
Vulcan, I have to talk to you about Edwin. I saw you getting friendly with her. You should be more careful. She is not what she pretends to be.
I know she's not playing straight with us. She's got her little secrets, just like everyone else.
You don't understand. It's a lot more serious than little secrets. I found some very worrying information in one of the last books I read. 200 or 300 years ago, there were other groups of sages and magicians, like the Red Scribes. One of these orders was called the White Lords.
So you think that they were the ancestors of the Ice Lords or something? What does that have to do with Edwin?
I'm getting to that. The White Lords lived in the north of Vertiel, out in the ice. We know little about them. For a long time it was believed they had disappeared. But in reality, they somehow transformed themselves. And in one of the books that I consulted, I found an engraving of a woman, one of their leaders. It was the portrait of that witch.
It is suspicious. We'll have to check it out.
Since you seem so close to her, try to find out more about her past. How old is she? Where was she born? I don't know. Just something, anything that might give her away.
I will have to be careful so she doesn't get wise to me.
Keep me informed, but believe me, I'm almost sure it is her.
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
What do you think of Mathras?
I think he's absolutely unique, fascinating. I have always loved history and history books, but he actually lived through history. It's just incredible. There is so much we can learn from him. His knowledge could allow us to better understand what happened in our past. We could learn from the eras of our ancestors.
Do you really think he's immortal?
Oh, I'm convinced of it. You only have to look at him. He's so cultured and has so much knowledge. Which reminds me...
Something to do with our decomposing friend?
Yes, he won't talk to me about his romantic experiences. I managed to get a lot of stories about battles and all sorts of historical anecdotes, but nothing about his love life. It's not that I want to pry into his intimate life, but I do wonder why he's so reticent to talk about it.
I could always ask him for you. I've been thinking about the books and the library. I found a building that must be the library you were talking about. I think we should go there together. Shall we go?
It would be my pleasure.
Since you arrived, the enemy seems to be aware of our every move.
Truly. Surprising that they haven't yet arrived here to destroy this camp. Most interesting. Or perhaps very stupid. In any event, I do feel sorry for you. One doesn't seem to be able to put one's trust in anyone these days.
You don't understand. What I want is...
But I understand perfectly, my dear boy. I'd merely hoped that you were above this kind of nonsense. Since my arrival here, I've been surrounded by your friends, something that rather precludes the possibility of me talking to the enemy. I have not once left the camp, and no one deigns to speak to me of strategy, which is a pity, given the evident levels of incompetence of your generals. Thus, it seems obvious that these suspicions are unfounded. You know, since arriving here, I have the odd feeling of standing in a turnip field.
A turnip field?
Yes. It must be all the superior intelligences that surround us. Trust me, child. You should leave this area as swiftly as you may.
You would know more about the Deadwalkers than us. Who do you think the spy is?
Walking around in a dead body doesn't make one an expert on all other dead things, young man. In fact, I find the suggestion vaguely insulting. But I have learned to trust my experience, something that you, despite your youth, should attempt to do also. I imagine we could quite easily reduce the possibilities. Firstly, the traitor must be able to enter and leave the camp without being stopped. Then, it must be someone who can observe your comings and goings without drawing attention to themselves. Lastly, it is someone who knows your plans. Someone who knows your military commander's orders. That alone excludes a large number, particularly the undead here. In your place, I should go and question the camp watchman. Logic suggests they will have seen something.
Thanks for the tips. I'll get right on it. Let's change the subject. I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why did you come to Carolthas?
Why not? There's one thing you should know about eternity. It can be rather dull. So I do my very best to be in the right place at the right time. The place where it's the most fun.
Fun? You think this is fun?
Well, distracting then, if you prefer. What do you expect? I'm just so bored. The End of the World is a show I wouldn't want to miss.
What do you know about the Deadwalkers?
Apart from the fact that they're an incongruous mass of corpses with appalling bad taste that are animated through the use of magic, nothing. I can tell you that the power necessary for their creation, and to keep them working, is far beyond the magical abilities of any of your contemporaries. And since it's obvious they are incapable of any decision-making or strategy, they are clearly being controlled from a distance. All of which suggests the Ice Lords who are controlling these things are rather powerful. Something, I grant you, quite difficult to believe when one saw them start out at the same pitiful level of incompetence as their brothers, the Red Scribes.
In 6,000 years, have you ever seen a situation as desperate as this one?
Honestly? Well, no. You are, as you might put it, fucked. Or at least the mortals seem to be. But you carry something within you that may modify things somewhat. And it is this seemingly insignificant detail, this flap of a butterfly's wing, which may eventually change the apparently manifest destiny of the world as you know it. This demon, as you call it, has never before walked the earth. Neither he, neither it, nor any other of its kind. If they had, I would know of it, believe me. Consequently, and in spite of the evident futility of such a sentiment, there may be grounds for you to feel a slight glimmer of hope. That is, of course, if it is your desire to avert disaster.
Well, that's comforting. What happened to the Elven King?
I think he was simply lacking in strength of will and determination. They transformed him into an arch-lich. It's a particularly delicate and extremely dangerous magical process that could only be performed by an Ice Lord. It can only be performed on an elf, and then only one who is desperate to live.
How so?
Elves have many flaws, but most of them do have a very profound sense of duty. If an elf believes he is going to be tortured to make him reveal the secrets of his people, for example, he can literally will himself to die. It would seem that this king was desperate to continue living at any price, rather than dying with honor. That is what allowed them to turn him into an arch-lich.
Do you have any idea about what I am becoming?
In all my long lives, I've never seen your like. Even the term demon seems to be designed to cause confusion. I have seen real demons when I lived as a war drum player amongst the dwarves.
Dwarves are just legend. You're yanking my chain.
It would be churlish to mock someone when it is so easy. Thus the dwarves did exist, and I was once one of them. They used to use these little creatures, barely the size of toddlers, in their enormous forges. They were little red creatures with tiny horns and a wicked air about them. You see, they were able to survive in the flames. The dwarves called them demons. You look a little like one of them, only much bigger. and you have an even more pronounced affinity with fire, I'm reserving judgment about the wicked attitude. I believe this affinity with flames is no coincidence. You are clearly a response, a weapon, and your purpose is to face the Ice Lords. It is entirely possible that you are the fruit of an attempt to rebalance the forces of nature. Alas, I have no idea which entity is behind all of this.
Who are you exactly?
I am Masniis, immortal and unique.
Right. So why aren't you out there hanging out with your Deadwalker friends?
First of all, I don't have any pals. I'm a little too old for that. Secondly, I find your implication that I am associated with them most unpleasant. I have nothing in common with those dead things. I've been around for over 6,000 years, and I'm still very much alive, thank you. I admit this body is looking a little worn.
6,000 years old. Hey, you don't look a day over 250.
You flatterer. I did, however, lose a toe this morning. Nonetheless, these Deadwalkers are simply corpses if they're animated by magic. Whereas I am an immortal spirit who changes bodies when they wear out. There's absolutely no similarity.
That's not so dumb. It's what allows you to go on having an effect on the world, I guess.
Exactly. I give these bodies extra life that they would not have had if they'd stayed dead. Though, of course, these days, it's unlikely they would stay dead for very long.
I'm gonna need your experience, Masniis. Come with me.
At last. I was starting to get a little bored.
Masniis.
My dear?
Why won't you tell Sybil about your love lives?
I wouldn't have thought you'd be interested in the prurient questions of that young girl, charming as she may be. It seems to me that my sexuality is my own business, as well as which, I suspect my stories would be quite shocking to an innocent girl like that.
Come on, then.
I have been alive on Vertial a very long time, and before I lost all desire of any kind, I think I probably experienced everything possible, both emotionally and sexually. To recount all my adventures to you in detail would require weeks, apart from which, it's out of the question that I should speak of these things out loud.
As bad as that?
You doubt my word? Very well. Let me tell you about my 14th wife, the Princess of the Elephant City.
For real? But that's gross.
And those are some of my cleaner stories. I told you, I've tried everything. Perhaps now you understand my reticence with your young friend.
Exactly. So what should I tell her?
Whatever you wish. I will confirm whatever story you tell.
How are things with Sybil?
What a charming young girl. Her hunger for knowledge reminds me of myself in the distant past, when I was young and still living in my first body. I imagine that if I still felt any physical desires, I would happily give her a good few hours of one-on-one experimental physical training. And it seems to me that she's rather more interested in getting your attention. At any rate, she is by far the most interesting red scribe I've met in the past 300 years, though I fear that may not be much of a compliment, given their legendary incompetence.
Talk to you later. Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I spoke with Masniis. He finally agreed to talk to me about his love life. Well, lives.
And? What did he tell you?
Our bony friend likes... he's a complete romantic.
I could feel that behind his proud exterior, he was all heart.
He didn't go into too much detail. He's had many wives, and every time he had to watch them grow old and die, and he could do nothing to help.
It's just terrible.
It is. That's why it's so hard for him to talk about it. You understand why now?
Yes. I feel so stupid. Thank you for your help anyway. I won't bother him about it anymore.
I need your help.
If you want.
I have some questions.
I'm listening.
Have you noticed...
And I think I saw one of the...
Any... What? No. Thank you. An undead? In Ark? What? So... What? Buffalo, you were seen leaving... I'm not...
Can I help you with something, miss?
Your story...
Anyway.
I hope you don't think it's me anymore.
Vulcan.
You're up. Up.
Anything to do with necromancy, healing, and of course anything about the World Heart. books you have. I can't carry any more. I need to keep my hands free in case we have to fight.
Sybil.
Yes?
I'd like to ask you a few questions.
What do you want to know?
Have you learned anything about the World Heart?
Yes, I found out a few things that might interest you. Some of the myths about the World Heart are based on real facts. Certain texts confirm that there is indeed a source of energy that fuels the world, but also that is the source of all magic power. Every time a sorcerer casts a spell, they are drawing power from the World Heart. The Ice Lords are siphoning this energy in huge quantities, and that is why they are so immensely powerful. If we can only discover how they're doing it, it may be possible to deprive them of all their power.
That sounds like a really good lead. Keep on digging. Anything new on the World Heart?
I think I just discovered something really interesting.
Tell me.
From what I've read, the World Heart is not in Vertial. Well, not really. It exists in a sort of other world next to us, in a sort of limbo, in fact. And it's impossible to get there without using an extremely complex ritual.
And can you perform it?
No, but the Ice Lords have discovered a way to create passages and to keep them open. And it's by using these passages that the Ice Lords are able to channel the power from the World Heart. But they're draining it. They're using more power than can be replenished.
I'd like... Head to the southeast. Go to the support pillar. Could interest him.
I heard you managed to...
Yeah.
Mercenary!
Show me what you...
Mercenary!
Show me.
What?